Gospel of John. It's been kind of a long journey for us, actually. This service today and sermon today is the seventh in our journey of these I am sayings. And if you were here at the very start of our sermon series, we talked about how Jesus said these I am sayings to convey truths about himself and his ministry. And of course, the first I am saying that we looked at 6 weeks ago was that word, I am light. So we have our light before us. And how when Jesus used this saying, he used it to imply that if we walk with Jesus and stay in his light, we do not stumble to the sin of darkness. And then the following week, we looked at the second I am saying. Jesus said, I am the bread of the world. And we talked about how bread was central in a Jewish meal. And so when Jesus used this image, he was basically implying that we need to keep him central in our life. And if Jesus is central in our life, as bread was central to a Jewish meal, then again, we'll be full and satisfied. And we looked at the vine, because Jesus used that as an image to describe himself. And we talked about how vines are strong. And so when Jesus used this image, he was saying, if you walk with me, stay connected to me as a vine, there'll be strength that will come into your life. Strength that will empower you, especially when things get difficult. And we looked at the gate. Jesus said, I am the gate. And when he used that image, he was basically saying that if you walk with me, I will lead you to and through the gate that goes into the kingdom of God. But you have to walk with Jesus to get to the gate, to get through the gate and into the kingdom. And then Jesus said, I'm the good shepherd. So we have the shepherd's staff there. Right? And in this image again, Jesus used this image to convey that just as a shepherd guided and protected and sought after sheep when they were lost, so Jesus is implying in this image that when we walk with him, like a shepherd, he guides us, protects our soul. And when we get lost, sometimes we get lost, Jesus, like a good shepherd, seeks us out, comes and finds us. And then last Sunday we talked about how Jesus said, I'm the resurrection and the life. And of course the cross is there. And we talked about last week how when Jesus used this image, he was saying again, if you walk with me, I will help you conquer death. There'll be a resurrection for you after your mortal life ends here in this world. And if you walk with me, not only will there be a resurrection for you, new life, but there will also be life here in this world for you. In other words, Jesus was saying, if you walk with Jesus, he'll show us how to live, how we should really live. Well, that's where we were the last 6 weeks with these images that Jesus used. And today we look at now this image. I am the way, the truth, and the life. So I've got a little sign here with a path. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. And as you probably sensed, and as you were listening to me, Jesus uses this last I am image to respond to questions that the disciples had about his death. The disciples did want Jesus to go. They didn't want Jesus to die. And Jesus tries to reassure them. He says, look, I'm going to this house, this mansion in the sky. And this house has all kinds of rooms available. And I'm going really to prepare rooms for you, the disciples, so that when you die, you will come to where I am. Probably some of the disciples understood what Jesus was trying to imply, but Thomas didn't get it. And so Thomas says, Lord, I don't understand. I don't know where you're going. And Jesus responds to Thomas by saying, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. In other words, Thomas, if you follow me, follow my way, follow my path, my lead, you'll end up in that mansion in the sky with many rooms. You'll end up where I am. Well, Thomas, I think, caught that. And I think the rest of the disciples understood what Jesus was really implying when he said he was the way. Because we know that all the disciples, with the exception of just one, his name was Judas, would follow Jesus' way to the best of their abilities. And because they followed Jesus' way, we believe that they did indeed end up in that mansion in the sky, that house with many rooms. And if we intend to follow Jesus' way, his example, his path, we too will end up in that same house in the sky with many rooms. But we have to follow Jesus' way, his lead. And what's that look like? Well, it's basically living like Jesus did. Live simply. Live sacrificially. Live in faith. Live in service. This is following Jesus' lead, following Jesus' way. We serve and give and love. One day, a doctor who was well known in his community for leading a life of service and love and sacrifice went to a fundraising benefit for another good cause in the community. And as he was there, kind of mingling with all the other people that were there, a woman came up to him, and she introduced herself and then proceeded to give her complete medical history to the doctor. And then she proceeded to share with the doctor all the problems and ailments that she was having to deal with in her life. Now, she wasn't the doctor's patient, but she knew it was the doctor, decided that she'd take advantage of the situation, and so she went up to him and basically sought his advice. And the doctor listened patiently as this woman kind of dominated the conversation. And after about an hour of using his time, she finally said, well, what do you think I should do with all my health issues? And so the doctor gave her his advice, and she thanked him and left. And after she left, a lawyer walked up to the doctor, asked him how he was doing at the social event. And the doctor said, well, actually, I was having a good time until that woman over there who walked away grabbed me and used my last hour to tell me about her medical problems, seek my advice. The lawyer said, did you give her some advice? Yeah. The doctor said, sure, I taught her what I thought she needed to do. You know, said the doctor, I really should charge her for that. The lawyer jumped on that and said, well, you know, you can't. He says, legally, you could charge her for the hour consultation and the advice that you gave her. That's legal, said the lawyer. That's my advice to you, said the lawyer. I'm charged. Well, a week went by, and the doctor got a bill in the mail. Oh. And the bill, as some of you are saying, was from the lawyer for his legal advice. Sometimes when we seek to help other people, things don't always go the way we'd like it to go. Sometimes when we seek to help other people, we get taken advantage of. And that happens. Some of you probably had that happen to you. But nonetheless, Jesus wants us to still help. Jesus wants us to still serve. Jesus wants us to still love and share. This is his way. And if we seek to follow his way, Jesus says that way, that path, that lead takes us to that mansion in the sky. I am the way, said Jesus. Follow my path, follow my lead, follow my example, and you will go to that mansion in the sky someday with many, many rooms. But following Jesus not only leads us to the mansion, but following Jesus also leads to discernment of truth. Please hear that. When you follow God, follow Jesus, you perceive truths about life that you would not perceive if you weren't following Jesus. Now, what truths are you talking about? Well, I'm talking about some of these basic truths that Jesus taught. Like, it's more blessed to give than to receive. Or the truth that when you give, you do receive. Or the truth that honesty is always better than deceit. Or the truth that it's fun to serve. Or the truth that there is reward in being patient. Or the truth that we discover life when we seek to follow Christ. These are some basic truths that you and I discern in life when we seek to follow Jesus the way. I am the way, said Jesus. Walk with me. I'll lead you to that mansion in the sky. If you walk with me, I'll lead you to discern truths about life. Truths that you would not perceive or hold on to if you didn't walk with me. But walking with Jesus also leads us to life. I am the way, the truth, and the life, said Jesus. Now, we talked about life last Sunday when Jesus said, I'm the resurrection and the life. And if you were here last Sunday, you might remember us talking about how life for Jesus was found in relationships. It was found in helping other people and serving. That's what Jesus meant his disciples to see when they